National Rodney Ferguson.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to tell you a story today, a story about a project that we have been engaged with in Vietnam now for several years that I think illustrates an important, crucial point that we all need to address, and that's as we look to address the climate issues around the world, there is one tool in our toolbox that we sometimes ignore, and we ignore it at our peril, and that's innovation. How we bring American innovation to the task ahead of both economic development around the world, but also to climate mitigation around the world. The project is in Vietnam, in the Son La province, in the northern part of the country. It started with the development of a hydroelectric dam. The dam was being built, and it became obvious that agricultural activity and the increase in acreage around the dam was going to create enormous problems by depositing silt in this dam, and so as a result it was going to limit the lifespan of the dam, but also its effectiveness, but also at the cost. It was going to result in huge cost to desilt that dam going forward. There was a solution that was sitting right there waiting for execution. The solution was a payment for environmental services approach to assuring that the dam would be productive and cost-effective, but also that we could preserve the land around that dam by preserving the forest and preventing deforestation and transition to additional agricultural use. How do you do that? We looked at how the beneficiaries of the dam downriver could pay for the preservation of the forests and limiting the agricultural development upstream, therefore, or thereby, limiting the silt deposits in the dam, preserving the forest, and preventing additional agricultural clearance by transferring from the beneficiaries downstream to the forest users upstream, paying them for preserving the land around the dam. So this project, which became known as the Vietnam Forest and Delta Project, resulted in transfer payments from downstream beneficiaries upstream to the forest users. Now, it also has the benefit of teaching the people that live in the forest areas new ways to find productive use for forests. Forests around the world, we think of them as these pristine, bucolic areas to be preserved at all costs, but they're that in our definition, they may be sort of vivid, alive landscapes, but they're largely denuded of any economic activity. That's not true. Most forests around the world are actually economic hives of activity, and people make their living out of forests, and not necessarily from harvesting the trees, but in myriad ways. And we work to help develop the economy around the dam and create more economic activity at the same time that we were transferring payments from the downstream beneficiaries of the dam to the upstream protectors. As a result of this project, we have seen $400 million transferred to protect the forest in Son La province. And the benefits of this have resulted in benefits to 500,000 people that live in that part of Vietnam in 44 different provinces. It's been a remarkable success. It's paid for by you, the U.S. taxpayer, through USAID, our partnership with USAID, and our partnership with private sector players that enabled us to bring technology to bear to help with this transfer of benefits. For example, we were able to introduce digital payments. At the beginning of this project, the money from the downstream beneficiaries was literally put in boxes in cash and driven up the river. This is not very efficient and not very economic or environmentally sound either. So we partnered with Viettel, a Vietnamese telecom company, to come up with a payments scheme to allow digital transfers of this money with economic benefits, opportunity cost benefits. You don't have to take a half day off from work and go and wait for the truck to arrive and get your cash. And obviously it also prevented theft and diversion of that money as well. We also partnered with the company ESRI, the geospatial mapping company, to help us use satellite imagery to have a better understanding on a very targeted level what methodologies to bring to bear around the dam to preserve the forest most effectively and to have the best land use strategy possible. This project continues in Vietnam, and it's a wonderful example of something very important, and I want to leave you with one thing today. It's this. One of the frustrating things about the conversation we tend to have in this country about how we're going to battle climate change is the assumption that it is a zero-sum game, that there will be invariably, in fact, most people would even, if pressed, would say it's not really a zero-sum game, it's a negative game where it's going to cost us billions, if not trillions of dollars. It's going to be a drain on our economies. It's going to zap our economic vitality. In fact, exactly the opposite is going to happen. Innovation is the American brand. Innovation is what has built the most successful economy in the history of mankind. And innovation is what will help us transition to a new economy. There are millions of projects. There are millions of Vietnam Forest and Delta projects out there where if we apply economic and scientific innovation using data and science, this will have enormous economic benefits, not just for our country, but for the world, but particularly for the United States. We are a country, we are an economy, we're a brand, if you will, built on innovation. And if we continue to apply that innovative entrepreneurial spirit to turning the world's economy away from carbon emission to other forms of energy, other forms of economic activity, we will have enormous success. We will create a new era of innovation in this country, and we will be successful. And the dire calamitous scenarios that many of us hear about will never come to pass. And I don't believe they will, because I believe that ingrained in this country, in our economic spirit, is this sort of innate drive to innovate and bring innovation to bear. And if we do that, we're going to have a successful 21st century, and we'll have a safer, cleaner, healthier, more sustainable world for our children and our children's children and forever, not just in this country, for around the world. So again, thank you very much. I enjoyed having the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our work, and we hope you'll visit us on our website, or otherwise come visit us in one of our 50 countries around the world where we work. So thank you very much.